Hey, anyways, um, this is sort of a different um, style of a video than I typically make. Typically, I'm the type of guy who would be showing off games, like new games and stuff that I've gotten, doing let's plays, stuff like that. But this is not that. This is showcasing the Mound O games I picked up physically this year in 2024, or what's left of 2024. Um, and also talking about stuff that's coming next year. Um, and let me tell you, this is a huge stack of games. Pretty much across the board from 360, PS3, Switch, and also some games that I had. I actually had to rebuy one game, and I added a game into a collection. And I will start with those two first. So, Halo 2. Yes, you might be wondering, wait a minute, don't you already have Halo 2? The copy that you see sticking up there, that is technically Halo 2, but in reality it's the behind the scenes making of video, like the documentary. This is a proper copy of Halo 2. It's a full game and everything. I did end up picking this up off of Amazon during the year. I can't remember when, because I actually wanted to complete my physical Halo collection. The only one I'm now missing is Halo Infinite, but I do own its campaign digitally. Picked that up this morning, alongside Borderlands Pandora's Box as well, box collection. I picked that up also digitally for Xbox One. So those are already downloaded. So I do also like to have physical copies of games as well. So I know this works on original on 360 because I have tested it before. So this is one of the ones that I ended up rebuying to basically replace my my original copy of Halo 2, which from where I bought it, they didn't really say, hey, by the way, it's only the behind the scenes disc. They didn't say any of that. They just said, yep, it's the full game and all that. In reality, it wasn't. So they were annoyed at that, but what can you do? And then we have Halo ODST. Yes, and you might be wondering, like, wait a minute, don't you own ODST? Again, just like Halo 2, I only own it digitally through Master Chief Collection. I never owned a physical copy, so super happy to finally pick up ODST. Before we start into getting into the real, shall we say, main games I really picked up this year, these are sort of ones that I sort of wanted to briefly talk about because I did pick these up this year. This again also came from Amazon. Both of these actually were in the same order. So yeah, so I'm going to put these back where they belong, and then we'll get into the actual main games that I picked up this year. And you might be wondering, like, how many Switch games do you have coming? I now have a total of 8 Switch games coming. I have one from Best Buy, which I picked up today. Well, picked up is a loose term. I don't actually have it with me. Because unfortunately they were sold out of it. But it is being shipped. So it is being shipped at the moment. So it should be here probably within like 10 days or so. Which that is Star Wars. What is it actually called? It is the Heritage Pack. So that has 7 games in it. So you get Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, Academy, Episode 1 Racer, which is the pod race one. You get Republic Commando, Force Unleashed, Knights of the Old Republic, and Knights of the Old Republic 2, the Sith Lords. So I picked that up today as well. Like I said, I don't actually have it sitting beside me here in the big stack, just because again they were sold out of it, but it is coming. I have so that one is coming via Best Buy, unfortunately. And then I have 2 games coming from Amazon. One of them is Silent Hope Day 1 Edition. I typically don't buy like big box sets, or like not box sets, but like special editions or collector's editions, just because I'm like, I don't have the space for it. But unfortunately, this was the only way I could get the game. And then I also picked up Final Fantasy 1 to 6 collection. So that's the Pixel Remaster collection. And unfortunately, I literally saw the Switch version and the PS4 version at Best Buy today. I'm like, oh god damn it! If I hadn't ordered both of them, I would have probably picked both of them up alongside the Heritage collection as well. So I do also have coming from Video Game Plus, I think it is. So the Amazon stuff, which is Silent Hope, which is sort of a weird farming dungeon type of game, and Final Fantasy 1 to 6 Pixel Remaster Collection. So those ones are coming via Amazon, and then we have coming from Video Game Plus. We have the PS4 version of Final Fantasy 1 to 6 collection as well, because again, both those games are typically around $100 usually, so I was able to get them for a little bit cheaper. But it is what it is. But unfortunately, I have no idea when the Video Game Plus order is coming. It should be here within the next, I would say, like, it says it's unfulfilled. So because I ordered it yesterday, literally I ordered it yesterday. And then I have coming from Play Asia. I have a bunch of stuff coming from them. Unfortunately, it hasn't even arrived yet. Like, it's still considered preparing at the moment. So a few of the games there are exclusives to Play Asia. And when I get all the orders from Best Buy, Amazon, and Play Asia, I will do a big unboxing It all really depends on when stuff comes in, though. So we have Death Road to Canada, Claridius, Blaze, Love Call Me Trilogy, Deathmouse 1 and 2, and then we have Tokyo Clan Pool, which that one is currently out of stock at the moment. But more stock is coming. We'll be here on the 6th of next month. So those 8 games are coming next year, unfortunately. Like I said, once everything arrives, if everything arrives like around the same time, then obviously you'll see a massive unboxing. But who really knows? So now let's get on to, I would say, probably the PS4 collection that I picked up this year. Some of them, most of the collection that I have for PS4 this year wasn't actually a fair bit. This year, I didn't actually pick up a lot for PS4 this year. I did pick up a few titles this year. One of them is one I already owned digitally, but again, I like to have physical copies. But it is what it is. The first one, which I didn't even know existed for PS4. I only saw PS5. It was listed for PS5. I didn't even know that there was a PS4 version. The only way I knew this game even existed was from Mystic, who he deals a lot with the PlayStation side of things. With Let's Talk PlayStation, he's done 30 days Platinums in 30 days videos, I think 3 times. And this is one of the games that he did in his last one, which is BB Tina at the Horse Farm. Like I said, I didn't even know it even existed for PS4. It's PS4, PS5, and Switch, if I remember correctly. So, very, very weird game. When I saw it actually at a retro store, I actually had to do a double take. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I was like, I thought it was PS5 only. Did a quick Google. I was like, oh, it came out for PS4 as well. So, I picked it up because why not? Really weird, sort of like a PS2 style game, but meant for PS4. I can't remember how much I paid for it. It was probably like $20 at most, so it is what it is. I do have a few retro games I bought at the same retro store. One of them is for 360. Yeah, so this is the first one I picked. Well, one of the first ones I picked up this year, or I guess technically the latest one I picked up for PS4. Then we have Last of Us Part 2. Yes. And you might be wondering, don't you already own it? I do own it, yes. Digitally though. And again, I always like to have physical copies. Just in case for some reason the digital version just doesn't work. I've had that issue with the PS3 version of Last of Us, so I do actually have a physical copy of Last of Us as well. So this is one of the ones I picked up for PS4 this year. The other games I picked up this year are Last of Us on PC, 2077, so it's Cyberpunk 2077, and Slime Rancher 2, actually. Those were the other games I picked up, as well, at least on Steam. And then I also picked up Black Ops 6, as well, on Battle.net. So those are all the 4 PC games I picked up this year. If we're talking Switch, I also picked up No Man's Sky digitally as well. That's the only other Switch game I picked up this year. Besides the big stack that I have sitting beside me, basically. But the last, or I guess one of the other PS4 games I picked up, Concrete Genie. This game has been on my hit list for years. And you might be wondering, what do you mean by hit list? So it's basically a list that I create. Basically, it's a list that I find, or games that I want to try to find to either have in the collection for that particular console, for let's say PS4, 360, Switch, stuff like that. Or it could be that I want to just play it, right? So, and then there's sometimes where it's like, it also fits into the category of like, I want to have it in the collection as well as play it, so it sometimes fits in that category as well. This took me forever to find physically. Like, I think I was looking for it since I bought my PS4 back in 2020. It's sort of one of those very weird games, and unfortunately, Sony has shut the publisher down. So, there's not going to be a sequel. You can, I believe, still buy it digitally, I think. I think you can still buy it digitally. I'm not 100% sure on that. Yes, you can still buy it digitally. It is kind of expensive digitally though. It's like $45 Canadian. So I was able to find my physical copy for like $5, or I think it might have been a little bit more than that. I think it was like 15 at most. So super happy to finally have a physical copy of it. Yeah, sort of sad that Sony has decided to shut the publisher down. But I always have a physical copy. That's why I buy physical copies as well. So, yeah. So I will be playing through most of these this possibly upcoming year. But I also have a lot of games, like I said, coming. So trying to find the time is going to be a little bit difficult. Next, I would say let's move on to 360. Because there's not many 360 games I picked up this year. At the same spot that I picked up BB and Tina, I also picked up Xbox Live Arcade. So, and yes, I know the box is like crunched. I plan on buying replacement cases. I think I need like 6 or 7 of them, but unfortunately I can only buy like 10, which is not bad. It's like 10 for like $30, so it's like, not bad. So I'm going to probably do that later this year. So yeah, so kind of annoying. So these games were bundled in with some of the original 360s back in the day. So this one has, and there was different versions there. I just picked up this one because it was the cheapest, and it was still not that cheap. It was still like better part of like $25-30. But you have Pac-Man Championship Edition on it, Uno, Boom Boom Rocket, Luxor 2, and Feeding Frenzy. So Feeding Frenzy is the main reason why I picked this copy up. But disc works, everything works on it. Just the bottom of the case, unfortunately, got dinged. Oh, I ended up cutting myself. And then we get into the import side of things this year. So for those who do not know, I also like collecting, or will start be collecting, a lot more international games for 360 and Switch this year. Maybe some PS4 stuff if I can get a hold of it. But it's primarily Switch and maybe some 360 as well. We have Halo 3, yes. And you might be wondering why Halo 3. I wanted a game that I know very, very well for the first Japanese 360 game. I could almost run this game blindfolded with how many times I've run this game over the years. It is fully complete as well, so it has the map poster, strategy control manual, all that stuff in it, so it's fully complete. Very, very nice copy. A little expensive. I think I paid about $23 for it. So, not too bad. A little expensive, though. And then we have Godfather, which was supposed to be played November 14th, but I switched that out for a different game. I can't remember off the top of my head what I switched it out for. I think I did like Pokemon or something. Maybe Mario, I can't remember. Might have been Mario. Or something like that, I can't remember. But this one is in fully Japanese. There is no English subtitles. So I do have to figure out how to play it. So this is the other imported game I have for 360. Now we get into my Switch collection, that I picked up. I picked up actually a fair bit of Switch this year. Which, like I said, I do try to pick up a lot of the main Nintendo IPs. So that's like Zelda as well. I also picked up Breath of the Wild this year as well. I forgot to mention that. I picked that up in like January or something. No, sorry, not January. I picked it up in like April or something, like late this year. Alongside Dreamlight Valley. I also picked that up as well. So those were the two. So I only picked up 3 games digital. Oh, and I also picked up Pokemon Sword as well. I forgot I picked that game up as well. So there's like 4 or 5 games I picked up digitally. But physically, I picked up quite a fair bit of games this year. Way more than I was thinking I was going to. But, yeah, a lot of the stuff was on sale. Some of it wasn't on sale. We do have a couple import titles in here as well. So we'll start with we'll get to those at the end. So we have Pokemon Arceus. I finally decided to pull the trigger and get Pokemon Arceus because at the time I was getting very close on finishing up Pokemon Violet, which I didn't pick up this year. I picked it up last year. So I did finish it, quote unquote finish it. I'm now working on endgame for that at the moment. So once that's done, once endgame is done, then I will probably buy its DLC and run through that. But I was like, you know what? Let's buy it. I picked this up over Black Friday. And it's been fun. I haven't really put a lot of hours into it. But it's an okay game. I don't mind it. And supposedly, from what I've been reading and stuff like that, the next Pokemon game, which is I think Z to A or whatever the hell it's called, I don't even know what it's really going to be called. That could just be a placeholder at the moment. It's going to be very, very similar from what I've read to Arceus. So, is what it is. Finally picked up Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and you might be wondering why 3, why not 1 or 2? 1 was actually a lot more expensive than this game. Like, this was still not cheap. This was still a better part of like $70 or $80 or something like that. But it is newer. It came out more recently, so you would suspect more basically better controls and all that sort of stuff. Very fun game. Still playing through it. Not a lot, but I do need to get back to it. So, and it was also, I was able to get it earlier than 1 or 2 as well. Like, in terms of, like, when can it arrive? Because I bought this off of Amazon. Alongside Arceus as well. Actually, most of my collection here that I picked up this year came off of Amazon, surprisingly. So I did finally pick up Chronicles 3. Another one I picked up off of Amazon was Rune Factory 5. Yes, finally decided to pick up Rune Factory 5. I was torn between 3, 4, and obviously 5. But again, 3 was a little expensive. 4 was a little expensive. 5 was not bad price. And I was able to get this a lot earlier than the other 2 games that I just mentioned. Again, that was also picked up off of Amazon. Fae Farm as well. This one I did pick up again alongside Arceus on Black Friday via Amazon. And you might be wondering why. Well, I had been playing the demo at the time. I really actually enjoyed it. I thought, you know what? It is a game that I could see myself sink some hours into if I'm not playing a lot more of the Japanese stuff, or I guess more of my imported stuff that's coming. So I thought, you know what? Pick it up. It's not a bad game anyways. It was actually reasonably priced. I think it was around $50. A little expensive, but again, you get all the DLC and everything, whereas if you buy it on on PC, excuse me, you have to buy the deluxe edition to get all the content, whereas on the Switch it's already on the cartridge, so it's not too bad. Then we come to Borderlands 3 Ultimate Edition. And it says here, download and micro SD card required. Basically what that means is for other languages. Other than that, everything is on the cartridge. I was sort of curious to see how it would play in general on the Switch. Unfortunately, I couldn't get like the Legendary Collection or whatever it is, which is one, like a few of them. I could only get it digitally, and it was expensive. So I looked up what 3 was from GameStop. I saw that it was like $20, and I'm like, done. So $20, brand new. Haven't really played it, but who knows? We might play some of it maybe tomorrow. Who knows? I don't really know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow for a stream, and I will get onto that in a moment. So finally picked up Borderlands 3, brand new. All these games this year were brand new in terms of the Switch stuff. The only brand new PS4 game would have been Last of Us Part 2. That was the only brand new game. Both Concrete Genie and BB and Tina at the Horse Farm, those were both used games. Next, we have Skywalker Saga. Yes, again, another brand new title. Again, I think it was like 29 bucks, brand new. And I'm like, you know what? That's a pretty good price for 7 games, basically. Or, I guess, what? 9, basically. So I thought, you know what? Just get it. And then we get into sort of more of my obscure games. And give me a minute to grab a 360 game because it actually, what I'm about to show you, actually has a bit of a story to it. Oh, right. I also picked up this game this year as well. So, I completely forgot. I also grabbed another game as well. So the game I'm about to show you, unfortunately, it was disc only when I bought it, meaning there was no case, there was no artwork with it. So I had to print artwork for it. So it's not, I would consider 100% complete, but it is as complete as I could get it. And that is Lollipop Chainsaw. This is an original copy. Well, original. It's printed artwork, but the disc is, well, there. So, like I said, it is printed artwork. It's not 100% perfect, but it's decent enough. That I did not pick up this year. I picked this up like 3 years ago or something like that. But once I heard that there was going to be a remake, remaster for it, I was like, okay, cool. I'll pick it up when I can, sort of thing. And it wasn't until August of this year that I found out that it was only going to be physically through limited run. I thought, okay. At the time, I thought, oh, I was a little bit surprised at that. I thought, okay, a little strange. I thought it would be physical in like a GameStop or a Best Buy or something like that. Nope. So I jumped obviously on it because I'm thinking, okay, it is limited. For the Switch, it was 248 copies. So I was like, and it wasn't badly priced either. Like, I think it was actually cheaper than what it would have been for me to buy it digitally. Excuse me. So I do have a physical copy from Limited Run, Lollipop Chainsaw, and on the back, if the camera can focus and I can hold it straight, says 248 on the back. Yep. So this was the last copy that was made, basically, for limited or from Limited Run. So, like I said, I bought it. From them. In August, and it wasn't originally supposed to ship until like sometime in December, but I received it on the 13th of November is when my copy arrived. I guess before we go to the last 2 games, because that also has a bit of a fun story, is I picked up Monster High, A New Ghoul in School. The disc isn't actually in it because it's actually still in the console at the moment. This is a very, very hard game for me to find. It was a very hard game for me to find. I was very, very surprised that Amazon even had a copy of it. It is kind of an obscure one. So I like that sort of stuff. I like sort of the obscure games. And I thought, you know what? Get it. It is kind of a hard one to find. And the only way I knew about this game was from a streamer called Ray Narvaez Jr., who played it, I think, a number of years ago on stream. And that's the only way I heard about the game. And so, and again, it was one of those games that took me forever to find. Like, my main retro store at the time, ANC Games, where I got pretty much, I would say about 99% of my 360 collection. They didn't even know it even existed. So, and that tells you something. That even a retro store doesn't even know that game even existed. But luckily enough, Amazon had a copy. And also, luckily enough, it arrived by the time I needed it to. Excuse me. So, again, that was one of the games I picked up this year as well. I'm just trying to think. Is there any others? I also picked up Alice in Wonderland as well. I can't remember if that was this year or last year. I think it might have been last year. But I now also have it on PC as well. But the next two games I'm going to talk about for Switch are Japanese exclusives. They never came to North America. There's only basically two ways to get them in North America. One is to have a Japanese Switch account and buy them that way, or you import them. I went the import route, but I was lucky that I found a listing on Amazon. Yeah, Amazon had copies. Unfortunately, from a third-party seller. So I didn't have to pay import and duty and all that like I had to for Halo and Godfather. Actually, no. Godfather, I didn't have to pay for any of them, actually, because they weren't at a certain price point. So for these two, I didn't have to pay. I know for Godfather for sure, I wouldn't have had to pay because that one came from BC or British Columbia, whereas Halo 3 actually came directly from Tokyo. But again, I didn't have to pay import for that one. But these two, again, came from somewhere out west, probably Edmonton area. And I was super, super happy that, again, I didn't have to go through eBay. I didn't have to pay import and everything else that goes along with importing games and stuff like that. But unfortunately, the seller decided to use Canada Post, which typically I don't mind Canada Post. But at the time I ordered it, which was the 9th of November, Canada Post at the time, excuse me, were threatening, like very, very threatening, to go on strike because they needed a new contract and it just wasn't working, basically. And so, unfortunately, they did go on strike the first day that these games should have arrived. They should have arrived between the 15th and the 20th. Unfortunately, they did not arrive until the 19th of December. So basically a month after they were supposed to arrive. And they were not cheap. Yeah, these two games were not cheap. We're looking at basically $80 a piece for both of them. There are only two of them available on Switch. They're both, like I said, Japanese exclusives. Never came to North America, but they do have English subtitles, so that kind of works for me. And we have both Food Girls and Food Girls 2 Civil War. So they're both visual novels for those wondering. So that is pretty much everything that I've bought this year, and also what is coming. Let me put all this stuff away, and I will talk about why I picked up stuff from where I did. So yeah, sorry about that. So you might be wondering, like, why did I pick up stuff from Amazon versus VGP, which is Video Game Plus, and PlayAsia? Why didn't I just get everything from one source? A lot of stuff just was not available from Amazon. Like, a lot of the exclusives coming from PlayAsia are PlayAsia only. Out of all of the stuff that's coming from PlayAsia, only 2 games were not exclusive. So I thought, you know what, let's just do everything from them. Makes my life a little bit easier for that stuff. So I did. It also depends on what I can get from each place, right? Like, if I can get everything from either Amazon, Video Game Plus, or PlayAsia, I will. And sometimes I might also have to go through Best Buy, like I did today for the Heritage Collection. So yeah, which should be here, they said, within like 2 to 10 days, sort of thing. So, which means it should be here 10 days from now, would probably be like the 21st or so. Well, 20th, somewhere in that range, at the latest. I wouldn't be surprised I would be surprised, excuse me, if it arrived by the end of the week. But we'll see what happens there. With the stuff coming from PlayAsia, I am still waiting for for stock on one of the games that I have coming. Yeah, and I typically also don't buy duplicates of games unless there's a good reason, like different content on each disc. Like, for example, Switch might have more content than, let's say, a PS4 version, stuff like that. But the only other time I do buy duplicates is if it's at a decent price. Like, for example, the Final Fantasy 1 to 6 Pixel Remaster Collection. I have that both coming for Switch and PS4. And unfortunately, I actually have each one of those copies coming. I have the Switch version coming from Amazon, and then I have the PS4 version coming from Video Game Plus. And you might be wondering, like, if you saw it today, why don't you just pick them up? Well, then I would have 2 copies of each. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? So I wanted. I knew I had copies coming, so I thought, you know what, just keep with what I have coming. So, and they were both at the prices what I paid. So it is what it is. The other reason why it took me so long to buy them is because of what their original price point was. I think they were like $100 and something, and I'm like, oof, I'm not paying that. So yeah, so like I said, that's everything coming. Depending on when things arrive, like my stuff from Amazon, Best Buy, Video Game Plus, and PlayAsia, if everything arrives in like 1 or 2 days from each other, then obviously you'll see a big unboxing video of everything. But who knows? So, anyways, yeah. So, like I said, that was everything that I bought game-wise, both digitally and physically this year for PC, Xbox, PS4, 360, basically everything that I have access to at the moment. So, anyways,